morning. Dr. Nanda Kumar Lakshman Kadam, Head Department of Accountancy, Jaisingpur College, Jaisingpur, welcomes you in this interesting session. Today we will discuss one more topic. The title of the topic is branch accounts, which is included in the syllabus of financial accounting, BCom part first, paper second. In this unit, we will discuss the dependent branch, preparation of branch account, branch trading profit loss accounts, and accounts under stock and debtors method. As the unit is big one, branch accounts, I have divided the discussion in three parts. In the first part, we will see the introductory part, the features of branch, the objectives of branch, loading, invoice price, cost price, all these we will have general discussion in the first part. In the second part, we will discuss the accounting in the first two methods, that is branch account method and branch trading profit loss account method. That will be the part second. And in the third part, we will discuss the accounting entries under stock and debtors method or stock and debtors system. Thus, the total discussion is divided in three parts. First is introductory part. In the second part, we will discuss the accounting under branch account method and branch profit loss account method. And in the third part, we will discuss stock and debtors system. Now we will discuss only the first part, that is introductory part. Okay, then we will have some discussion. Before starting branch, okay, what is the prime motto? What is the prime objective? What is the prime purpose of establishing any business? The first, foremost important objective, purpose, motto is to earn profit. To earn the profit is the prime objective of any business. How to earn the profit? And second, how to increase the profit. To increase the profit, it is very essential, the most important condition, that you have to increase sales. If you have to increase sales, you have to approach more and more customers. You have to approach to more and more customers. So one way of approaching to the more customers, increase the sales, is opening a branch. Branch means a part of the business which is situated, segregated physically and situated at another place. Branch is a part of the main business which is situated at another place. Okay. So the branch may be situated in the same city at another places or in other towns or villages, whatever it may be. To open the branch and to increase the sales, and by this way to earn more profit, is the objective of any business. The main business is called as head office, and the part which is situated at another places, it is called as branch. Then we will discuss what are the objectives of preparation of various branch accounts. Objective behind preparing the branch account. There are four types of objectives. One is to know profit or loss made by the branch, earned by the branch, or suffered by the branch. Second is what is the financial position of the branch, requirement of goods, cash and other assets of each branch, expenses incurred by the branch, and efficiency in working of each branch. To know all these items, it is the objective of preparation of branch accounts separately. Second objective is to know operating decisions regarding the business of a specific branch. If we open a specific branch account, we can know the profit or loss, the financial position, operating efficiency, okay, expenses, all these we can know, and we can take the operating decisions of the branch. Next is to control the activities of each branch. The head office how to control on branch, and to control the branch requires data. This data can be provided by preparing the branch accounts. And last is to make improvements or to discontinue some activities of branch wherever necessary. If the branch is improving, is doing business very good, then such activities should be promoted. Okay, and such activities or such products which are leading to the loss, such activities should be discontinued. To know this, we have to prepare the branch account. Okay, so to know the profit or loss, financial position, requirements of goods, operating efficiency, expenses incurred, to take operating decisions as well as to control the activities of the branch, and whether to improve, whether to promote some activities or whether to discontinue some activities, all these decisions, all this information can be known only by preparing branch. Okay, so these are the objectives of preparation of branch accounts by head office. Okay. Then we will see what are the types of branches. There are three types of branches. One is dependent branches, or you may say agency branches. Second is independent branches, and third is foreign branches. Dependent branches or agency branches means such branches which works as an agent. The branch which works as an agent of the head office and do the work which is specified by the head office. Only the selling of goods, only the selling of the goods at the price which is fixed by the head office. This is the work of this is the task of the branches, that is agency branches. They have no authority. They have no authority to purchase the goods and sell the goods independently, or can operate any activity separately independently. Second is independent branches. The branches which can do business independently. Which can do the business independently. It means such branches have authority, rights to purchase the goods. Okay, to sell the goods. In addition to the goods supplied by the head office. Besides, they have authority to incur some expenses, to earn some income. So, such branches work like an independent business unit. Okay, so it is called as independent branches. And next is foreign branches. Foreign branches means the branches which are opened in foreign countries, abroad. Okay, such branches are called as foreign branches. But for our syllabus, only dependent branches, only agency branches are included. So we will discuss here only the details of dependent branches or agency branches. What are the features of agency branches? What are the characteristics of agency branches? The first and foremost important feature or the character of the dependent branches is such branches do not keep their own books of accounts except the sales. All the accounts are prepared by head office. So such branches do not keep any set of books of accounts. All the transactions relating to the branch are recorded in the books of head office. Branch keeps only the sales ledger, nothing else. Okay, so all the accounts are prepared in the books of head office. Second, such branches remits all cash received to the head office, either directly in cash or they may deposit the total cash received from cashiers as well as from debtors in the bank account, in the head office bank account opened in the local branch. Okay, so such branches pay all cash, remits all cash to the head office, which is collected from the cashiers as well as from debtors. Next is, such branches are not allowed to purchase goods from outside. Such branches receives goods invoiced by the head office, supplied by the head office at the price, supplied by the head office at the price. The price may be invoice price or cost price, and they have no authority to purchase the goods. Only they receive goods, only they accept goods supplied by the head office at the any price, and they have no authority to purchase the goods. Next is all expenses of the branch are paid by the head office. The branch has no authority to incur expenses. All expenses are paid by the head office except petty expenses. So head office gives some petty money, for petty expenses, and such petty expenses can be incurred by the branch. But all major expenses are incurred by the head office and recorded by the head office. Branch have authority only to incur some petty expenses. Okay, and for this purpose, petty cash will be given by the head office to the branch. Next, such branches may sell the goods only for cash or as well as for cash and on credit also. Okay, such branches may sell goods by two ways. Either they may sell goods only for cash or they may sell goods for cash as well as on credit. But the most important point is that the branches can sell the goods at the price which is fixed by the head office. Branch can sell the goods at the price which is fixed by the head office. The branch have no authority to fix the price. The price is fixed by the head office. Branch will just sell out it. Head office sells goods to the branch at two prices. It means there are two types of prices, you may say. One is cost price and second is invoice price. The head office may sell goods to the branch at cost price or at invoice price, or you may say at selling price or above cost price. What is this invoice price or above cost price or selling price? Invoice price includes expected profit. Invoice price includes expected profit. Invoice price is the price which includes expected profit. Generally it is called as loading. The very famous word is loading. So the price which includes expected profit or loading is called as invoice price. So head office while selling the goods, the loading will add. It will add loading, expected profit. So the formula will be cost price plus loading is equal to invoice price. The simple formula for calculation of invoice price is cost price plus expected profit, that is called as loading. Cost price plus loading is equal to invoice price. Okay. When the goods are sent at invoice price, the loading need to be cancelled. The loading included in goods items need to be cancelled. Okay. When the goods are sent at invoice price, the entries of goods items are passed only at invoice price. I repeat, when the goods are sent by the head office to the branch at invoice price, at such time all entries of goods items are to be passed with the invoice price. Even the cost price is available, you have not to use it, you have to pass the entries with invoice price only, and then loading should be cancelled. Okay, all the entries of goods items in the head office books regarding the branch are passed with the invoice price when the goods are sent at invoice price, and then loading is cancelled. Okay, even the items of goods are given at cost price. Even the items of goods are given at cost price. These are to be converted into invoice price, and then loading is to be cancelled. Okay, what are the goods items? Generally there are 5 goods items. 1. Opening stock. 2. Goods sent to branch. 3. Goods returned by branch. 4. If there is any abnormal loss. And 5th is closing stock. These are the 5 items of goods which are to be recorded, which are to be entered with invoice price only. If the goods are sent by the head office at invoice price. If the goods are sent at cost price, then there will be no question. So we have to take care only in the case when the goods are sent by the head office at invoice price. Okay, clear? We will go ahead. Next is the point. If the loading is to be cancelled, how to calculate the loading? How to calculate the loading? I repeat two items. One is when the goods are sent at invoice price, all the entries of goods items are to be passed at with invoice price. This is one thing. Second, the loading included in all these items should be cancelled. These are the 2 points, important points. Okay. So if the loading is to be cancelled or entries are to be passed at invoice price, then many times either we have to calculate invoice price or we have to calculate loading or we have to calculate both. 3 types of tasks may be there. One, sometimes we have to calculate invoice price, sometimes we have to calculate loading, or sometimes we have to calculate both invoice price as well as loading. Okay, we have seen the basic formula. What is cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. Okay, then there are 4 possibilities. There are 4 possibilities regarding this. What are these possibilities? First, the loading is based on cost price. The loading is based on cost price and the goods items given in the problem are also at cost price. Goods are given at cost price. All the prices of goods are given at cost price and the loading is based also on cost price. Cost price, cost price. This is the first situation, first possibility. Second, the loading is based on cost price. Loading is based on cost price. Okay, but the items of goods given in the problem are at invoice price. Okay, loading is based on cost price, but the items of goods, opening stock, closing stock, goods sent, goods returned, all these items are given at invoice price. This is the second possibility. Third is loading is based on invoice price. Loading is based on invoice price, but the items of goods are given at cost price. Okay, and the last is loading is based on invoice price and the items of goods are given also at invoice price. 4 possibilities. Loading is based on cost price, items of goods are also at cost price. Loading is based on cost price, items of goods are given at invoice price. Loading is based on invoice price, items of goods are given at cost price. And loading is based on invoice price and items of goods are also given at invoice price. Okay, 5 items of goods. Okay, is that clear? So we have to take into consideration any of these possibility, and then accordingly we have to calculate the loading or invoice price or cost price. Okay, do not forget forever the basic formula: cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. This formula we can use for calculation of loading or invoice price or cost price. Okay, let we will see how to calculate the loading. In the first possibility, in the first situation, when the loading is based on cost price and the items of goods are also given at cost price. Okay. Now, if the goods are invoiced at invoice price, then we have to record all goods items at invoice price. Here, in this situation, we have not been provided the invoice price. Okay, as well as we don't know the amount of loading, so we have to calculate invoice price as well as loading, because the items of goods are given at cost price, loading is also based on cost price. So as the rule states that you have to record all the goods items at invoice price, we have to calculate invoice price. Again, rule states that you have to cancel the loading, so we have to calculate the loading. So both we have to calculate invoice price as well as loading. How to calculate it? Say we will take one formula: cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. The loading is based on cost price, so cost price is taken as 100. Loading is based on cost price, so cost is taken as 100. 100 plus percentage of loading is equal to invoice price 100 plus percentage. Generally the loading is given in percentage. Loading is given in percentage. So 100 cost plus percentage of loading is equal to 100 plus percentage of loading. If we take one example, suppose 20% loading on cost. Suppose there is loading 20% on cost, then 100 plus 20 is equal to 120. 100 plus 20 is equal to 120. Okay, how to calculate invoice price? Invoice price is equal to 100 plus percent divided by 100 into cost price. 100 plus percentage of loading divided by 100 into cost price. Okay, suppose we will take this example. 100 plus percentage is 20%. So 100 plus 20 is equal to 120 divided by 100 into cost prices in rupees. Cost price in rupees. Now we will see how to calculate the loading. The basic formula is cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. So loading is equal to percentage of loading divided by 100 into cost price. Okay, in this example 20% is the loading. So 20 divided by 100 into cost price in rupees, we will get loading. Okay, so how to calculate loading? Loading is equal to percentage of loading divided by 100 into cost price. Why cost price? Because the loading is based on cost price. So cost price is taken as 100. Cost price is taken as 100. So 100, 20 for 100, then for cost price. Okay, simple formula. There is another one formula for calculation of invoice price as well as loading. Invoice price as well as loading. How to calculate invoice price? If you know the cost price and loading, if you know cost price and loading, you can calculate invoice price is equal to cost price plus loading. Okay. If you know invoice price and cost price, if you know invoice price and cost price, you can calculate loading. Loading is equal to invoice price minus cost price. Okay, so here either you can calculate invoice price and by deducting cost price from invoice price you can calculate loading, or you can calculate loading and by adding cost price and loading you can get invoice price. So instead of making two calculations, you can make one calculation either of invoice price or of loading. And the missing item you can find out by applying the formula cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. If you calculate loading by applying this formula, okay, then you can calculate invoice price is equal to cost price plus loading. If you calculate invoice price by applying this formula, then you can calculate loading by another one formula, that is loading is equal to invoice price minus cost price. So you have two options. One, calculate invoice price by using the formula as well as calculate loading by using the formula, or calculate one of them and calculate missing item by using the formula cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. You can do by any one method, by any one way. The next situation, next possibility is when the loading is based on cost price and goods items are given at invoice price. As we have provided invoice price, as we have provided goods items at invoice price, so there is no need of calculation of invoice price again. It is already provided in the problem. Okay, so just we have to calculate here the loading. How to calculate loading? The same formula. Okay, you have to take into consideration that here you have provided invoice price, that you have to take into consideration, that you have to keep in mind, that you have been given invoice price. So cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. Cost is taken 100 because the percentage of loading is based on cost. Percentage of loading is equal to 100 plus percentage. Here in this example 100 plus 20 is equal to 120. But here in the calculation of loading, you will see that percentage of loading divided by 100 plus loading percentage. 100 plus percentage of loading. Why it is added? Because goods items are given at invoice price, not cost price. In the last example, in the last situation, in the last possibility, first possibility, we have divided by 100. We have divided by 100. But here we will divide by invoice price because the price of the goods items are given at invoice price. So we will divide by invoice price into invoice price in rupees. Okay. Here you have to calculate only the loading. Simple formula: 20 divided by 120 into invoice price in rupees. Total invoice price. Okay. Are you clear? See again. The loading is based on cost. So cost is taken 100 in the formula. And while calculate the loading, the denominator is invoice price. The denominator is invoice price because the goods items are given at invoice price. So loading percentage divided by invoice price. Invoice price means 100 plus percentage of loading into invoice price. Okay. This invoice price in the formula is used only because the goods items are given at invoice price. Okay. As the invoice price is given, only we have calculated loading. Third situation of the third possibility, that loading is based on invoice price and the goods items are given at cost price. Loading is based on invoice price and the goods items are given at cost price. Okay. First we will complete the formula. Cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. Here, see carefully. Invoice price is taken 100. Invoice price is taken to rupees 100. Why? Because the loading is based on invoice price. So, invoice price is 100. Percentage of loading. And how we calculated the cost? By deducting loading from the invoice price. By deducting loading from the invoice price, we calculate the cost. So cost is written as 100 minus percentage of loading. Okay? Because the loading is based on invoice price, so invoice price should be taken 100. Invoice price should be taken 100. Percentage loading will take, and we will calculate the cost by deducting percentage loading from the invoice price. So if 20% is loading, then 100, 20, then missing figure 80 is the cost. Okay. Then calculation of invoice price. The formula is invoice price is equal to 100 divided by 100 minus loading, percentage of loading. 100 minus percentage loading means what? Cost. 100 minus percentage of loading means what? Cost. Okay. So cost is given, so we have to take cost as denominator. The goods items are given at cost price, so cost should be taken as denominator. Okay. So 100 divided by 100 means invoice price. 100 divided by 100 minus percentage of loading into cost price. Okay. Into cost price. Why cost price? Because the goods items are given at cost price. Okay. So in this example, 100 divided by 80. 80 is the cost into cost price in rupees. Okay. In the same way, we will calculate loading. The goods items are given at invoice cost price. So we have to take the cost price as denominator. Cost price means 100 minus percentage of loading. Okay. So percentage loading divided by 100 minus percentage of loading into cost price. Okay. So loading is equal to, in this example, 20 divided by 80. 20 divided by 80 into cost price. Okay. As we have discussed, we can calculate only invoice price, and by using the formula cost plus loading into invoice price, we can calculate the loading. Okay. Or we can calculate the loading by using the formula, and by using cost plus loading invoice price, we can calculate the invoice price. Either you can calculate invoice price as well as loading by using the formula, or calculate one of them and other can be calculated by using the formula, basic formula cost plus loading, that is missing figure. Okay. Clear? I repeat. Here the loading is based on invoice price. So invoice price is taken 100. And the goods items are given at cost price. So the denominator is taken at cost price. Clear? Okay. The next situation, that fourth situation, last situation. Loading is based on invoice price and goods items are also given at invoice price. Loading is based on invoice price and the goods items are also given at invoice price. So here invoice price is available. Need not to calculate invoice price. We have to calculate only the loading. Okay. So formula: cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. In the same way that we have discussed in the third situation, invoice price will take 100 because the loading percent is based on invoice price. So invoice price 100, percentage of loading. We calculate cost price 100 minus percentage of loading. We have taken example of 20%. So 100, 20, missing figure is 80. 80 is the cost. Loading is equal to percentage of loading divided by 100. Divided by 100 into invoice price. Now you see the difference. Here the denominator is invoice price. Invoice price is 100. Why denominator is 100? Why denominator is invoice price? Because the goods items are given at invoice price. Goods items are given at invoice price. So denominator will be invoice price. Okay. Percentage of loading divided by 100 into invoice price. In the example, 20 divided by 100 into invoice price in rupees. Okay. Now you have to clear 2 points in your mind. One is that the item on which the price on which the loading is based, the price on which the loading is based is taken as 100 in the basic formula. The price in which the loading is based, this price is taken as 100 in the basic formula. Cost plus loading is equal to invoice price. In this 100 will be taken on which the loading is based. The price on which the loading is based will be taken 100. First point, very clear. Second, in the calculation, the denominator will be the which item? The price mentioned in the problem. Price of the goods given in the problem. Price of the goods items given in the problem will be the denominator. Okay? 100, the percentage of which base. Okay? Second denominator, the price of the goods items given in the problem. Two items that you have to keep in mind. Which should be supposed 100 on which the loading is based. And which should be taken as denominator? The price of the goods items given in the problem. The price of the goods items given in the problem. Okay? Is that clear? There are three methods of accounting. There are three methods of accounting. One is branch account method. Second is trading profit loss account method. And next is stock and debtors method. Okay? There are three methods of accounting. One is branch account method. It may be said as debtor system. And second is trading and profit loss account method, or we may say final account method. And next is third method is stock and debtors method or stock and debtors system. See carefully. In the first method is also titled as debtor system or debtors method. And the third is stock and debtors method. So there is difference between the debtors method and stock and debtors method. Okay? Is that clear? This is the first point.